She told me she could not get out of her mind that she raised a monster.
You believed you were a liar.
Correct.
And you told him lies on hundreds of occasions?
Oh, I have no idea.
I never in my life experienced physical abuse until I worked for Mike.
In my mind, I'm thinking, man, this guy snapped.
I remember looking at him and thinking, he wants to kill her.
You do get paid and you do get attention for doing this stuff.
I don't work for free. I mean, I'm just a crappy has-been actress who's trying to make $1 off my church.
Fading sitcom actress Leah Remini has hit bottom. First, she is expelled from the Church of Scientology for immoral behavior and antisocial conduct. Then, bent on revenge, Remini repeatedly tries to extort the church, first for $500,000, then for an additional $1 million. Her next scheme, a so-called reality show on cable outlet A&E, featuring a small, belly-aching group of extorters, perverts, con men, and psychopaths. Leading the pack, Mike Rinder, a bully, a wife abuser, a consummate liar, and now Leah Remini's co-host. Of course, Remini never reveals to her dwindling audiences the truth about Mike Rinder. But we will. He's a man removed from his position and expelled from the Church of Scientology nearly 15 years ago for incompetence, lying, laziness, violence, and criminality. During an important church court case, Rinder and a pair of accomplices engaged in felonious activity by pressuring and coaching witnesses to lie to police. That's suborning perjury, and it carries a 5-year prison sentence. But Rinder and his accessories hid the conspiracy from the church officials for 14 years until one of them finally outed them all to a reporter. Of course, lying is in Mike Rinder's DNA. Under oath, he admitted he had lied to the leader of the church more times than he could count.
You believed you were a liar.
Correct.
Okay, you believed you had lied about many things, correct?
To him, yes.
And you told him lies on dozens of occasions?
Oh, I have no idea.
Hundreds of occasions?
I just said I have no idea.
You can't quantify in any way by estimate?
No, I can't.
Later, he confessed in writing, "Bottom line is that I had a totally criminal moral code and operated with a totally criminal mind attitude." It was that criminality that caused the church to remove Rinder from his position permanently. But instead of owning up to this, Rinder took the coward's way out and ran away, abandoning the church, his wife of more than 30 years, his 2 children, and the rest of his family, including his elderly dying mother.
Mike, in June 2007, was in London on a business trip. A friend of mine called me and said he had just gotten an email from Mike. And the email said, it was very short, it was not to me. And he said, I'm not coming back. Like, he left.
When Rinder's wife finally located him and tried to reconcile with him, he viciously assaulted her.
Mike Rinder took my arms and had them in a grip, and then he crossed them over and pressed them down and against my own body so I could not move. He started screaming at me right up to me like hatred, like he was like this, screaming at me, "You bitch, you bitch.
She's yelling, you're hurting me. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I just thought to myself, oh my God, he's a monster. Like he's snapped. He's lost it.
And I could hear my bones start cracking. And I went, oh my God. I said, stop, let go of me, let go of me. And every time I said that, he did it harder.
Next thing you know, my mom's bleeding. It's all over her shirt, dripping on the ground. And she's going, oh.
I thought to myself, oh, I wonder whose blood that is. And then I saw it's pouring out of my arm. There is blood squirting literally on the walls of this building.
It was not a little scratch. Her arm was swollen, and there was lacerations and flesh wounds. I kid you not, there were gouges out of her flesh, like gouges.
While a team of paramedics rushed to treat his severely injured wife, Mike Rinder telephoned a reporter before the medical report became public, all to spin this savage attack on his wife as something that had nothing to do with him.
Mike Rinder negated the fact that this human being that he's standing in front of, that was his wife of 30 years and the mother of his 2 children, was being abused by him and was being hurt.
Kathy Rinder was treated for multiple lacerations, a separated collarbone, nerve damage, and a fractured and dislocated shoulder. The injuries so severe that despite years of rehab, her surgeon says she will be disabled for life.
She still continues to have problems with this shoulder. She does not have full range of motion. She still has pain and discomfort, which is constant. It's a permanent disability that will always be there with her.
Mike Rinder was later confronted by a reporter about the cold-blooded attack on his wife.
Mr. Rinder, let me ask you a question. I interviewed your ex-wife, Kathy. She showed
lay
me
out the ground rules.
She showed me the marks on her arms where you gouged her arms.
Really?
Absolutely. And she needs surgery.
Excuse me.
She needs surgery.
Do you have a business card?
That's how much Mike Rinder cared about his wife of more than 3 decades and the mother of his 2 children.
Gouged her arms.
Really?
Heartless mockery. Meanwhile, his daughter has had to care for her mother since the ruthless and vicious assault by Mike Rinder.
For a full year after that, I cared for her 100%, like any daughter would. And I did everything from helping her get dressed in the morning, cutting her food, lifting anything heavy, making her bed, picking up her laundry, and this permanent damage that she has for the rest of her life at this point. I mean, it's not going to go away. Is from Mike Rinder. It was done by Mike Rinder.
Then, just after brutally assaulting his wife, Mike Rinder showed up in his native Australia, broke into his mother's apartment with cameras rolling, and rifled through her possessions.
He somehow managed to talk his way in with a film crew and filmed her room. It disturbed my mother immensely that he could just walk into her room when she wasn't there.
And when I saw my grandmother and her reaction, and she said it all in one sentence, she turned to me and she said, I've been violated by my own son. In total devastation. She was devastated.
Mike Rinder's mother sent letter after letter appealing to her son to stop harassing his family and their religion. Michael, you are destroying everything that I am, she wrote. I need a promise from you to desist from these actions. It is important for me because there is not a lot of mileage left in this body. No reply ever came. Barbara Rinder passed away before ever hearing from her son. But Mike Rinder didn't care. He was on his own, failing at a variety of jobs, at 2 car dealerships, a marketing phone sales company, and an ice cream store. Then Rinder found he could make money lying about his former religion, both in the media and especially in the courts, where he raked in $750 an hour. Rinder's so-called testimony wasn't worth it to his clients, however. Every one of the court cases he was hired to help win lost. including a billion-dollar scheme he and his cohorts hoped would bankrupt the church. But it was a spectacular failure. This is the guy Leah Remini hired as her co-host. Actually, her bobblehead doll. Because Mike Rinder is the ultimate yes man.
He's saying less and less and just sagely nodding and confirming what Leah Remini's saying. And of course, Leah Remini's in no position of expertise on these things she's talking about. And she'll just create facts, and Mike Rinder will acknowledge it and say, exactly right, Leah, or absolutely, I agree with you 100%, or simply not.
In his quest to get paid, Mike Rinder will even fake a tear or two, albeit badly. But while Rinder will agree with Remini's lies, accusations, and smears, he knows none of it is true.
Rinder, who knows everything he's saying, is absolute unadulterated bullshit, right? And how do I know that Mike Rinder knows that it's absolute and unadulterated bullshit? From Mike Rinder himself.
Leah Remini is fully aware of how two-faced Rinder can be. That's why she hired him, because he knows how the propaganda game is played by apostates. After all, Rinder explained how it works on ABC 2020.
They sat in a room, they figured out what they were going to say, they wrote their bits, they passed them around, they made sure that they were consistent, and yes, they were paid for that.
That's right. It's all about money for Rinder, for Remini, and for the bigoted folks at A&E, showrunner Miles Reif, show producers Eli Holtzman and Aaron Sedman, former assistants to Harvey Weinstein, and executives Paul Bucheri, Rob Chernow, and Elaine Fontaine-Bryant, the A&E corporate sleazes who greenlit Remini's hate show. Before production of their show even started, the church provided Leah Remini and A&E with full documentation on every one of Remini's people, including Mike Rinder. But Leah Remini and A&E cared nothing for the truth.
I mean, I'm just a crappy has-been actress who's trying to make $1 off my church.
Just like Mike Rinder, a man bobbleheading on TV, only for a paycheck.